In today's breaking story, Epstein's other girlfriend just dropped a brutal bomb on Donald Trump. That's right, things are only getting worse for the president right now. How's it going, everybody? Hunter Avalone here with Occupy Democrats. Welcome back to another video. Now, this Epstein scandal is absolutely consuming Donald Trump.
To the average American person, it just feels corrupt as hell.
Yes.
It just feels corrupt as hell. Trump told all of us he can stand on Fifth Avenue, right to my left, commit murder, and not be held accountable. He thinks he's above the law, and he just gave a favor, we can presume, to an abuser of young children, young girls. The victims have said she was even worse than Epstein.
Yeah.
This is on Trump, that he is looking, it seems like he's looking to make some kind of deal to exonerate either himself or some others in the file that he's trying to protect. It's corrupt as hell. And he said he was going to drain the swamp. He is contributing to the swamp. He is the swamp now.
Danny,
and this is what the average American person, I think, is thinking.
Still, Epstein accusers are speaking out about how Trump's mishandling has been negatively affecting them.
I'm extremely upset. I'm angry. I'm disgusted. To be denied your innocence, denied your justice, and then to have your healing taken away from you without any consent, it really feels like a part of me is dying inside. To be clear, Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison for her counts of child exploitation and trafficking on top of the 2 counts of perjury. Why would anybody give somebody like her, who is a monster and a liar, a time of day to explain anything? She doesn't know anything, and if she did, she would have already had the opportunity to speak. I would like to start talking about the women that have sacrificed and poured their blood, sweat, and tears to get the little bit of justice. I would like the conversations to stop revolving around a billionaire pedophile, not a billionaire financier. Let's call him what he is. And I would like to stop having those conversations. I would like everyone to stop glorifying this monster and giving him the time of day.
And now, in today's top story, Epstein's other girlfriend just dropped a brutal bomb on Donald Trump. Take a look at this.
I always talked about Donald. I can't name another friend that he ever mentioned. He spoke about him regularly when we had contact, pretty consistently. And so he was sort of ever present in those conversations and in those months. And so we took a walk down Fifth, and he mentioned, oh, you know, Donald likes you so much, or he's such a fan, or I don't know, whatever. Let's stop by and see him. And that was kind of a normal thing to me because I knew at that point how close they were, what good friends they were. That wasn't the first time I'm hearing, you know, about the degree of their connection where it's normal or comfortable to just stop by his office in the middle of the day. So I said, oh, all right, okay, let's stop by. And Donald came out of his office right outside in the sort of the waiting area and started groping me while the two of them continued having a casual conversation. And Donald had an assistant who was sort of walked back and forth a couple times, and they did introduce me to her at one point. I will never remember her name.
But Donald is groping you in front of Jeffrey as they are continuing to talk.
Yes. Yes, his touches, just moving his hands sort of up and down my body, and like smiling at him, and Jeffrey's smiling back. And I don't remember specific. I think the conversation oriented around me and my career. You know, Stacey's on fire, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
And what was Jeffrey doing at this time?
He was engaging in the conversation and just looking at Donald. I didn't read any kind of reaction when it was happening.
When this was going on, when Donald Trump was allegedly groping you, what did you do?
I froze. I just froze, and I was just confused because they were continuing to talk, so as if nothing's happening. And so, you know, everything Donald does is hidden in its brazenness. You just do it right out there, and everyone goes, well, that can't be happening because it's totally wrong, and he's doing it right in front of everyone, so therefore it can't be happening. I mean, that's what went through my head at that point. Like, it was just utter confusion. And for me to be that frozen when I had a rep for really being a bit of a street fighter and really pushing back in studios when photographers were inappropriate. And I mean, I was reprimanded for it by my agencies. They'll be so difficult, you don't have to sleep with them, but at least make them think you're going to sleep with them. And, all this game playing that had to go on for these tiny egos. And so, I was really combative. And so for me to freeze, how masterful he is in a way to pull that off.
Well, and your remark about his brazenness and it happening in plain sight and people not acknowledging it is, I think, a really valid one. So what happened after you left the building, or after you left Donald Trump?
After we got into the elevator, and I looked at Jeffrey. He would make eye contact with me, and he had a really enraged look on his face. He was seething. His whole energy was different. And then by the time we got out on the street, we got out on Fifth Avenue, he just turned and started yelling at me and said, "Why did you let him do that?" He just kept repeating it. "Why would you let him do that?" And he really, there was an edge to it that was also very shaming and belittling. And I remember standing there thinking, like, I was starting to come back into my body, and I thought, why did I? I was so confused.
Thanks so much for watching. Please click that like button and subscribe to Occupy Democrats so that you can stay informed and help us stop Donald Trump.